How do you know you exist? Because if I was a simulation, then my actions would be governed by at least a rudimentary logic. And let me tell you, friend, they are fucking not. People will be like, I need to watch a base streamer who calls out their chat whenever they're dumb and doesn't have an audience for 11-year-olds. Like, Sneak Snack isn't right there. Is this a real person? I'm reblogging it, assuming it's a meme making fun of streamers. I'm about to lose my shit. Okay, and is the Sneak Snack in the room with us right now? Guys, who's Sneak Snack? Why are these scientists talking about Pluto when they should be curing Ebola? Because they're astrophysicists, not molecular engineers or infectious disease specialists. You're getting mad at the wrong people. Walks into Starbucks and violently shakes the barista. Where the fuck am I supposed to get a new bed frame then? Alright, people. New organs coming out soon. Medium intestine, gall, kidneys, inferior vena cava, table of contents, semicolon, opposite of liver, and pancreas too. I showed my mom this, a genuine doctor, and she says that the inferior vena cava is real, so I'm sorry, but your post has been cancelled, OP. Why was I unaware of the fact that disgruntled is in fact the opposite of gruntled? Gruntled. Adjective, humorous. 1. Pleased, satisfied, and contented. Why does nobody use this word? I'm so gruntled to have found this. I think I see why now. I just found my 7th grade math teacher on a gay porn website. Oh my sweet Jesus. Why were you on a gay porn website? Oh, for oatmeal recipes, you know. Why the fuck do you think, Jared? Do your eyes ever randomly go out of focus and then you're too lazy to focus them back in and just stare at nothing for a while? In Bavarian Germany, that's called Gaussschau, which translates to stare of a goat. I love that there's a word for this. Stare of a goat. My constant state. Hands down, the funniest thing I have ever heard at college was overhearing the following sentence at a conference. I asked him what his pronouns were and he said, PhD. You will refer to me as doctor and as doctor alone. Gonna time travel back to the Middle Ages so I can have some fun eating wormy gruel and hopefully top off the entire experience by getting stabbed in the stomach over a dispute about a couple of coins. You can do all of that in New Jersey. Something about the profile picture makes this worse. Thinking again about how the names Arctic and Antarctica just means bears and no bears. What can be more human than coming to a place you've never been to and saying, bears are here, than visiting a similar place and going, nope, no bears here. And hilariously, that is not why it is called that. It is the circle of the bears because of Ursa Major and Ursa Minor. And the circle without bears, because, opposite part of the sky. We lucked right into that one. So, what you're saying is the stars dictate whether bears do or do not exist in places. Astrology is real, but only for predicting where bears will be. Being able to teleport must suck ass when you have ADHD. Why the fuck am I in Nevada? Teleports home, immediately remembers why they were going to Nevada. Fuck me. When I have to name a player character. Jade, Benny, Wild, I don't know, nothing too big or pretentious, I don't know. When I have to name a player character's pet. The magical cheese wizard Provolone Dave. I said that like that on purpose. So I asked non-binary Reddit this a while back. Let's test something. Describe your gender in a way that will baffle cis people, but other trans and NB peeps will get. And they really went all out. Here are some of my favorite responses. I prefer not to be perceived by others. Avoid with thigh-high socks and beanie. No, pick a slur. I drank too much gender juice. I wish I was an abstract concept. Oblique. My gender is oblique. I'm a grand old piano. I'm painted black. shining and somewhat glossy. Covered in vines holding beautiful, golden flowers, I sit in the middle of a forest, forgotten, yet not lost. A cat sits atop me, staring into the distance with a glare in its tiny marble eyes. The sun lays itself on top of my base and streaks, like looking through swaying, almost open blinds. I am a grand old piano.
7 goblins in a trench coat, each with a different hyperfixation.
David Bowie is played by Tilda Swinton. Non-gender with left boy girl. A shape-shifting shadow monster that takes the form of your gay aunt's wife. That is very specific. If gender is a performance, then mine is the curtains, which are drawn into block stage hands switching props and the backdrop. I'm a girl. In a man way. I don't know what I'm doing, leave me alone. Brack! Booby make beardy face. I'm all the genders, but also none of the genders. And everything I wear is drag, and every crush I have is gay. If Gerard Way was a sport bike. When you order man from Wish. Why is this one getting me? I'm gender fluid, but not in a sometimes I'm a girl, sometimes a boy way. Sometimes my gender is Wesley from Princess Bride, a sexy cowboy, pirate temperance, and greasy gamer entity. An old vending machine that only gives you coffee and lime soda. I want to be able to see my gender in the woods after weeks of camping and get scared away. Then the next night wander into the forest searching for it again, but disappear without a trace. Like those horror stories you read about, you know?
I'm a person. I swear. I think of gender as icky stuff that I don't want on me, attached to me. That's another way of saying I don't want gender terms to define me. I'm a gender.
No matter who you are, if you have sex with me, it's gay. I do not exist.
Bowling alley carpet.
Ah, and of course, the most confusing of all to cis people. Hi, I'm non-binary. Please refer to me with gender-neutral terms. Yep. Hang in there, guys. We'll get there eventually. Putin has boasted that Russia is planning to build a base on the moon. The idea is that astronauts will live there permanently. When they were asked if they really wanted to spend the rest of their lives in a barren, lifeless, empty landscape, the Russians said, "No, that's why we want to go to the moon." I would be unstoppable if not for the tired sleepy.
I got tested for the sleepy tired and it came back positive. Sup.
Love that in a lot of classic literature, people just randomly fall ill. But bro, their homes were stacked to the roof with arsenic and asbestos and lead and radium. Of course they were sick all the time. And then they're like, we took my ill wife to the seaside and their condition improved remarkably. And it's like, Edward, your house has 7 time bombs in it. Please just leave your wife at the seaside and she'll do very well not getting mesothelioma. Edward, your wife may be entitled to financial compensation. This will not go well in court.
Shadow the Hedgehog is cool. Gunblades are cool. Vampires are cool. Scythes are cool. White hair's cool. We need to stop lying about what is not cool.
Sometimes things that are edgy are cool. I agree with Shadow the Hedgehog. That thing invented edge.
You know that feel when no GF?
No, actually, I don't, because I'm a manly man who plays several sports. Am I right, my fellow sportsmen? Alright, name all 7 sports.
Ball throw, ball catch, ball run, ball kick, shoot, ball dunk, touch, memes. Ha! Get fucking wrecked. My only regret is that I didn't tell enough people to fuck off.
My 92-year-old grandma. The inside of your butt is warm enough to hard-boil an egg. Oh, no, I'm not falling for this one again. I'm sorry, again? This website is like a suicide hotline, but with text chat instead. I would appreciate it if you guys help spread the word. I've used this before, and the person I was chatting with was very kind and helpful. I really could have hurt myself seriously if I hadn't seen a Tumblr post about this site. Phone calls and I don't do so well together.
I didn't realize this text was linked to another site, and for a short, horrible second, I thought you meant Tumblr was like a suicide hotline, and I was like, baby girl, no.
Dog water.
Not for you.
Okay, but plot twist. Its name is Dog. How to start discourse. Insert favorite character is a insert Harry Potter house.
Sonic is a power bottom. I don't think that sentence starts discourse so much as it ends any conversation before it even started.
Underrated trope. I've lost my memory and I don't know who you are, but I just have this feeling that I'm supposed to trust you.
But the feeling is absolutely, completely, 100% wrong.
Person 1. I don't know what it is about you. I just know that I can trust you.
Person 2. Their actual, literal worst enemy. Excuse me, what? Your crimes are known. The Frog Council sits in judgment. I opened Tumblr and I almost screamed. The guilt has hold of you. Confess. Hey, do any of my followers know how to render really good?
I can render my enemies in mobile.
I meant 3D computer renders, but I'll keep you in mind for future reference.
Betty and Tim die in a car accident on the eve of their wedding. In heaven, they ask St. Peter if they can still be married.
Well, let me find out if this is possible. Stay here, and I will be right back.
6 months pass, and Peter returns.
Yes, we can do this for you.
The couple asks, well, as we have spent so much time together waiting for your answer, we need to know that if things don't work out, is there a possibility that we can be divorced?
To which St. Peter answers, it took me 6 months to find a priest up here. How long do you think it will take me to find a lawyer?
I won $1 million and donated a quarter of it to charity. I now have $999,999.75 left.
That hurt to read.
Play idea, perform Macbeth. But when the witches are doing their prophecy thing, they segue into telling the story of Hamlet. Hamlet is chatting with the ghost when it starts telling a Midsummer's Night's Dream. The audience becomes slowly aware that the programs and advertisements did not publish a runtime for the performance. Ushers start handing out the new programs, with new actors' names on them in previously unmentioned roles. Every single known Shakespeare play is nested inside a performance. The theater doors are locked.
Jesus Christ, that's terrifying. I told the hibachi guy to make me regret being born when he asked how spicy I wanted my spicy chicken, and he just nodded solemnly. I'll see you all in Valhalla. I'm seeing dead prophets.
They weren't lying. The chicken can kill you. It tastes really good, though. My compliments to the chef.
Customer. Hi, how are you today?
What animal is this? I need a plushie of this.
Okay, but I want to read a Frankenstein sequel where the monster, who is literally stitched together at the seams from decaying body parts and thus has an invested interest in advancing 19th century surgical techniques, if only to keep himself in on semi-presentable pieces, goes to medical school and becomes a world-renowned physician, something his shoddy med school dropout of a father never accomplished. And then when the people say, actually, Frankenstein was the doctor, you can say, as a matter of fact,
Frankenstein is the dropout, not the doctor.
Okay, forget everything else I've previously said on the subject. This
is my favorite Star Wars behind-the-scenes story.
Operated by remote control, R2-D2 had a trundle off camera and disappeared behind a sand dune, she says. But the remote control failed to stop the robot and he wandered onto the set of Jesus of Nazareth.
This is the greatest thing I've ever read. What? Your Bible doesn't have the nativity story with God's miracle of the sentient trash bin coming to pay its respects for the baby Jesus?
These wise men have traveled far and brought gifts of gold, frankincense,
and the plans for the Death Star. Pistachio tastes like mistaking salt for sugar and vice versa. I will not elaborate.
Okay, listen here, you little shitpistachios. Greg, you better explain yourself. Hey, remember when you could say stuff like the earth is round or Nazis are bad and be absolutely certain everyone who heard you would agree? Remember when you could say we shouldn't attack children with tear gas and be absolutely certain everyone who heard you would agree? Remember when you would say you shouldn't let your children catch fatal, preventable diseases and be absolutely certain everyone who heard you would agree? The fuck happened, guys? The most difficult part of hiding a sword, I imagine, would not be in the actual hiding, but in squashing down the phenomenal urge to tell absolutely everyone that you have a sword. Me as a super cool secret agent, leaning into a stranger on the bus. Hey, I bet you can't guess how many awesome knives I have right now. In my head, don't tell anyone you're an assassin. Don't tell anyone you're an assassin. Killing people is bad. Don't tell anyone you're an assassin. Out loud, hey, does anybody want to see a dead senator? I had a dream where a girl had this, big, horrifying bone creature on a leash. It looked like something out of Dark Souls. And another lady was like, oh my, what breed is he? And she was like, Eldritch. And then the bone creature took out a coin from a socket on its forehead and held it up to the other woman and said, tell me your name. And the girl walking him was like, no, down boy, don't. And the other woman went, Susanna. And then a bunch of smoke started billowing out of her eyes and ears, and the coin flew up and started burning into Susanna's forehead. And the girl walking her was like, I'm so sorry, he's not usually like this. What's gotten into you today? And Susanna was like, oh, it's fine, he's adorable. Well, she started rapidly aging and the bone creature was starting to grow muscle and skin. And then I woke up. Well, I'm never gonna sleep again. My toddler is 3 years old and won't eat anything other than fine porterhouse steaks and sweet port wine. You need to discipline your child. Port is a horrible choice for the main course and widely clashes with a rich Bernese. Dude, he's 3 and uncultured. Get a new child. Breeding kink is so disabling. I pull up a semi every time I put fuel in my car. I really typed this in my car at the petrol station because I was worried that if I waited until I got home, I'd forget it. Wish you'd have waited, OP. For real? What is this? I have been a professional medium for 15.5 years, and I am very sensitive to all of the energy forces that surround us. The instructors are great, and the facility is clean. But then I walked into the studio. I was assaulted by the dark energy radiating from Monica at the front desk. Every year, I remember the dark power swelling within Monica at the front desk. Hillary walking into the White House to visit her husband in the 90s. Everyone call Orca stupid, and it too. Orca barely even literate. Orca finally finished reading Ulysses, but Orca only can identify surface level themes like religion and nationalism and can comprehend deeper ideas like the remorse of conscience that make James Joyce's novel a modern classic. Orca's so dumb it makes Orca sad. And just when Orca will never understand fingers work. This makes me so sad. Holy shit. Someone, please tell him his analysis may be superficial, but it shows a deep understanding of symbolism. Please, someone tell him. Do you ever start bullshitting a paper and then look over it halfway through and think, wait a minute, I could be onto something here? This is the definition of college. Literally, I was writing a paper on Asian saltwater crocodiles, like it's simple about them paper for a college class. And I started noticing some inconsistencies in the scientific papers I was resourcing, and I accidentally discovered that the crocodiles has been misdiagnosed as least concern on the endangered species list when they should be classified as endangered. And now my professor is having me write a formal report to the International Red List to have them classified, and all I wanted to do was write this paper on an animal I thought was cool, and now I'm considered an expert on this species. How did this happen? Would you die for the moon? Obviously, I'm a lesbian. What kind of question is that? Knuckle tattoos that say escaped
biohazard.
That's way too many letters. Do you have radiation poisoning or something? Oh, my bad. Carry on. Really love the new generation of game devs who grew up on those batshit fake creepypasta rumors about how if you do X extremely specific set of actions in Y game, you'll find a hidden lava cookie under the truck and Mario will start bleeding and the soundtrack will turn into screams. Or whatever, and went, you know what? I'm going to actually program one of those into the game. Progress, people.
Because it slaps.
I want to be a conventionally attractive, wealthy, skinny cis woman so I can go on to The Bachelor and make it all the way through the competition. And when the guy proposes to me, I just leap towards him and close my teeth around his neck and bite as hard as I can. Just absolute animal brutality, like shaking his neck like a ragdoll, growling, gripping, tearing, etc. And then before anyone can stop me, immediately run into traffic and die so no one ever gets the chance to understand what the fuck just happened. The dream. Lesser movies than Mamma Mia 2008 would have made the central conflict to be between the three dads and stoked endless competition and jealousy between them, fighting about who gets to be Sophie's real dad and who has and had a right to pursue Donna. But Mamma Mia is not such a movie. Mamma Mia is a cinematic masterpiece, and as such they are pals throughout, happily go along with all the shenanigans and spend loads of quality time together throughout this film. They are just vibing. And then all three of them become the dads, no questions asked. No drama. Only vibing in Greece. Wait, Mamma Mia is set in Greece? Studies have shown women are less likely to receive CPR in public than men. The idea behind the Womanikin, a breasted vest for CPR dummies, is to help address gender disparities in CPR training and performances.
I'm begging them to call it literally anything else.
You were my sister, Womanikin! I loved you! Mario Kart 9 in active development will feature a new twist. Anal,
Wait a minute! This isn't Super Smash Bros. This is anal sex!
If Batman and Spider-Man switch rogues galleries, none of their villains would last more than 10 minutes against the new enemy. Batman takes down all of Spider-Man's villains with ruthless efficiency and preparation. Batman's villains are like,
take me seriously, damn it!
And Spider-Man is like, haha, no. The Joker would have an intense hatred for Spider-Man because Spider-Man is actually funny. That was the exact thought process behind this post. In Gotham, riddle me this. I like knock-knock jokes better. In New York, Green Goblin is getting his ass beat by 12 orphans in spandex. Thinking back to when I watched Top Gear. Half of it was a relatively normal show with some funny parts and the other half is like,
oh, I'm along, you bloody cheese! That was my Lamborghini out front the door!
You know how someone can say, I respectfully disagree. What about I disrespectfully agree? For when you hate someone,
but they are unfortunately correct.
Anyone would be lucky to date me. I was a pleasure to have in class. No, don't take care of me. It's rotten work. No, not me. You're so sexy. This was more painful than the senpai thing. So I had to return a book to the library today, and I came straight from the horse farm. I went to the front desk because it was an item on loan from another library, and I wasn't sure if it had to be checked in differently. The librarian said no, it could get returned in a normal slot, but she could take it and check it in right away. It was only when I got back to the car that I realized I had walked into the library covered in dirt from head to toe and handed back a book about grave robbing. I guarantee you that was the highlight of their day. This is what happens when I have no assignments over the weekend. The pink tabs are for murder, purple for human or animal sacrifice, blue for rape, yellow for slavery, and green for misogyny. That's a lot of murder. Did you just read the entire Bible over the weekend? What if Pikachu does a face reveal one day and he's just some guy? You fucking wish. A sobering stat during coronavirus fears. 90% of employees admit they have gone to work when sick. Oh no, who could have possibly foreseen that organizing the entire service economy around low-wage workers without sick leave or reliable access to a doctor might someday backfire? There's got to be at least one trans woman named Eve out there whose dead name is Adam, and she's the funniest person to ever grace this earth with her presence. I bet her friends give her a good ribbing about it. I'm actually willing to bet there's a good deal more than one, because every trans woman I've ever met thinks she's God's gift to comedy, and every single one of them is right. In general, I think New York is very good for my social anxiety, because no matter how much of a freak I'm being, I know it's probably not the weirdest thing people have seen today. Case in point, I felt bad about bringing my unwieldy luggage onto the crowded train, until a man sitting next to me pulled a live fish out of his backpack. Daniela, what did he do with the fish? I need answers. How to make anything you do sound suspicious. Be mostly specific. Yes, I bought this with legal tender money that was acquired legally. I met with a friend who's still alive. I went to the still standing, not burned home of my enemies. I was in Wisconsin in 12 when Princess Diana and her love Dodi Al-Fayed were killed in Paris. You can feel the TV. It's warm. My opinion on quantum physics is that we should stop looking into it. It's none of our business, and frankly, the particles seem to agree. Scientists should walk away, really exaggerate it, and call out, "Okay, I guess I'll stop researching quantum physics then." And then, when the particles relax, they whip around super fast like a kid who just watched Toy Story trying to trick their toys into acting alive. Isn't that already how it's studied? I woke up at 3 a.m. delirious and extremely thirsty, but my water glass was empty, so I was like, I know exactly how to fix this. So I googled big water, and in my half-asleep state, I was certain that would allow me to manifest a large glass of water in reality. Didn't work, but now I know there is a town in Utah called Big Water. You know what's probably more fun than playing chess? Cheating at chess. Oh, would you look at that? My pawns found Jesus and now they're all bishops. So I realize it looks like I'm putting a thimble on the board, but actually my rooks have been using their downtime to build another rook. One that's better, stronger, faster. Hey, welcome back! When you left to get a snack, those 6 pieces you'd captured slipped their guards, tunneled to safety, and emerged right in the middle of your royal palace. Oof, looks like you've got my king cornered. Maybe this is a good time to mention that shortly before we started playing, my pawns and knights revolted and instituted a representative democracy. Feel free to kill puppet ruler that was the one remaining vestige of a tyranny. You're cringing servant of the crown. Vive la révolution! New game, cheating chess, where you can make up any new thing you want as long as you can justify it, as in the above examples, by a plausible mechanism. Sorry, but your kingdom experienced a debilitating outbreak of plague and now your defenses are shattered, leaving the board open for my rampaging forces. Checkmate. Weasley siblings playing against Ron. That's a great headcanon. Also, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't this how D&D kind of works? My mom bought a "All my children have paws" mug in an effort to disown us in favor of her dogs, but she is blissfully unaware of the fact that 2 of her children are actually furries. Why do you know your sibling is a furry? I made him a furry. This is why she's disowning you. What girl, are you from France? 'Cause madame. I just spit all over my phone. We won, folks. Kirby finally gets a gun. Sir, that's a baby with a gun. Y'all ever get fatigued so bad that you're laying down and it feels like you need to lay down more? Advanced laying. Somehow. Do you mean sleeping? No, like laying down, but more. More laying. Laying beyond the physical bounds of objects and surfaces. Clipping through the floors like Bethesda published me. To anyone who missed it, Blurbo, a favorite character. Glopshido, Star Wars names are fucking nonsense. Eeby-deeby, you're going to hell. Plink a horse that was stuck in a plinko board. Scrimblow Bimblow, Super Smash Bros. Fans can be very angry when characters aren't in a game.
I don't know what's worse. The fact that I feel like I've aged 60 years reading this, or the fact that the profile has a miraculous character with a snap filter on it. Jesus Christ.
Going to therapy is so humiliating. Gotta explain symptoms like I know how it sounds and I know what you're gonna say. And the therapist is like, it sounds like you're having symptoms. It's always the fucking symptoms.
I'll admit that my main problem with this is that I haven't asked.
Well, isn't that a great sentence?
I'll admit that my main problem with this secret groundhog eating cult is that I haven't been invited to join despite my pedigree. I'd probably opt out, but it's nice to be asked. Original text for context.
OP, this provides no context. What is this?
Hey, what do you think of my cat?
Rating? Fishy! A vampire giving themselves a pep talk to a mirror that has a crudely drawn picture of themselves that they do tape to it. Because I believe in you.
In the movie Venom, during the first human trials of the symbiote, the research team is happy that the patient's vitals are holding steady. This is a reference to the production team not consulting a single medical professional to find out what good vital signals look like. Ah yes, a pulse of 136 and an oxygen saturation of 81%. The ideal levels. Ah yes, nothing to be concerned about there. Perfectly normal. They said they were holding steady, not that they were holding healthy. Patient's vitals are steady. Doctor, they're dead and maintaining that state quite well. I'm watching a documentary about rats and this guy is like, they say there's a rat for every single person in New York City. And I know he's talking about like population numbers, but it kind of sounds like he's trying to tell everyone in New York that they have an individually assigned rodent friend, and I think that's beautiful. I'm still reeling over the fact when I went with my friend to a Renaissance fair, there was a lady who was handing out samples. My friend took a bite of it, and all I heard was, "My lord, that's soap." Is that a Roman bath? Because our fair has Roman bath that hands out little soap samples, and apparently someone always eats the soap. I developed the habit of wandering by at least once a day and going, "So many," and the sample hander outer would be, "3 today." Or 6, and it's not even lunchtime, what the hell. On one occasion, 2, but one of them went, "Oh, soap," before she bit into it, and I'm still confused. Mark Twain, a Connecticut Yankee and King, offers court. Wizard Council banned potion ingredients 2022. Black fluid produced when the Noid climaxes. Milk of social media. Sigma Grind said they them form. We too, and Lin-Manuel Placenta. Gay as fuck for a man to deliberately neglect his health and stubbornly refuse medical attention. What do you want? To get wrestled down into submission by a much larger man and carried to a doctor in his strong but safe arms, bridal style? I'm not trying to fetishize this behavior. Everyone I know whose dad has died because of pulling stupid shit like this. Not long before Rowling was published, women authors were unheard of. Now, your generation gets to take us further than my generation ever could because we are living your lives. But at least acknowledge that we laid the groundwork for you to take us on to the next step. Oh man, can't believe Jane Austen wrote Pride and Prejudice in the 2000s. And in 2015, Emily Bronte released literary classic Wuthering Heights. Thank God someone paved the way for them. If you think J.K. Rowling was the first woman author, you don't actually care about women authors. Mary Shelley didn't fuck on her parents' grave for this level of disrespect. Murasaki Shikibu didn't invent the novel for this.
Christine de Pizan did not sit down at her desk and write the book of the City of Ladies, advocating for women's education and finding value in women of all social classes and backgrounds in 1405 for this.
Shahrazade had 1,000 tales.
This isn't even true in 20th century fantasy or children's books. Pierce, Lackey, Applegate, McCaffrey, Bradley, Butler, Whomst.
A casual reminder that a woman was the first known author poet in 2300 BC, and Edwana, the first novel in recorded history, was written by a woman in 1010 AD, Murasaki Shikibu. The earliest example of science fiction was written by a woman in 1666, Margaret Cavendish. Horror science fiction was popularized by a teenage girl in 1818, Mary Shelley. A Scotswoman's expanded children's stories from moralizing tales into anarchic adventures in the mid-1800s, well before it became popular in the early 20th century. Catherine Sinclair, the masked, costumed hero archetype that inspired Batman and Zorro, was created by a woman in 1905, Baroness Emma Orczy. And while she is problematic as all get out, we all know who is to blame for popularizing boarding school fiction, which is a huge inspiration for She Who Must Not Be Named from the 1930s onward, Enid Blyton. And do I even need to mention what a badass pioneer Ursula Le Guin was for a women author in the fantasy sci-fi genre? Not to mention Agatha Christie is literally second only to Shakespeare in terms of works sold. 4 billion compared to J.K. Rowling's paltry 500 million.
I'm sorry, Mary Shelley did what?
Mary Shelley lost her virginity on her parents' grave. She also kept her dead husband's heart wrapped in silk after he died.
Dare I repeat, Mary Shelley did what?
Mary Shelley walked so bone-stealing Tumblr witches could run. My god, that was an adventure. Hello, male writer. Before you is a typewriter. You have 1 day to write a novella with a woman as the protagonist without describing her breasts. The timer begins now. Her ass was like a peach, and brother, I'm in her pit. Well, okay. You got me, that's on me. Yes, Avril Lavigne, you can make it more obvious. You literally told me nothing about these two people except their genders and presumably their young age. They could both be gay or not even into each other. They could be two complete strangers. They could be living on different continents or in different time periods. You gotta be more specific. It's the fact she then carries on to describe them as he was a punk, she did ballet, and then says, what more can I say? And it's like you still haven't actually told us anything, for fuck's sakes, Avril. He was a 17th century English prostitute. She danced in the Pearl Theater Ballet in Russia in 1893. Wow. What a way to use an archaic meaning of the word punk for historical accuracy. A true story to entertain you. I once got into the trunk of a stranger's car because they offered me ice cream. I was in the trunk with a furry, and I may or may not have been in full Homestuck cosplay. I ended up getting out of the car because the furry started crying because her friend had died in the hospital, and I don't know how to handle other people's emotions, so I then stood on the side of the road in the sketchiest part of Minneapolis waiting for my dad to pick me up. My phone was at 2%. I require more details. Why did you agree to getting in the trunk? Why were you in Homestuck cosplay? Why was the furry present? How did you get out of the car? Why did you only have 2%? Emails just aren't safe anymore. We should hide state secrets deep in the story parts of recipe blocks. You laugh, but this was the plot of Full Metal Alchemist. Excuse me? I didn't learn about this in driving school. Stop, says the red light. Go, says the green. Wait, says the yellow light, twinkling in between. Kneel as the demon light with its eye of coal sorrow knows your license plate and stares into your soul. The world's largest winged cockroach is Megaloblata longipenis, found in... I'm sorry. The largest cockroach ever is named Megalovania long penis. Seriously though, they're gorgeous. Ladies and gentlemen, we have finally found Papa Roach.
This post is a fucking 3-hit combo.
Nothing is worse than having your period at a concert. Ugh. Fallout blood, pierce the ovaries, red day, my chemical hormones. Too soon. Panic at the uterus, bring me the tampons. This post is a curse. All time flow, blood on the dance floor. Studying biology and animal behavior leaves me in the possession of so much information that must be kept away from furries at all costs. Hey, here's a little tip. When you are done with a tab, you can close it. Every browser in the world has a feature that lets you open recently closed tabs. Also, there is browsing history. Need to visit a web page often? May I introduce to you to the bookmarks feature? There's no reason to leave your tabs open. Hoarder behavior.
Hey, look, that's good advice and all, but OP, I'm hitting you with a shovel.
It's just silence, but it keeps getting faster.
Oh god, this is stressing me out.
You're laughing. My combat horse just got plinkoed into EBDB. And you're laughing. I was drawing a bunch of pentagrams in my notebook during math class because I was bored, and I think I drew 150 pentagrams in total before a devilish looking guy wearing a red suit broke down the door of the classroom and yelled, "What the fuck do you want?"
This username escapes me every single time.
Rules to learning English. There are no rules.
This makes me feel so uncomfortable. Stop.
May I introduce to you the uncomfortable tea set? Yes, I am uncomfortable. Oolong tea. Okay, but seriously, I need to see the full process as to why this was produced. I love how Tumblr staff has time to censor words like paint mixing and my face, and yet they can't get rid of Sex Sophie 8127 that's been liking my posts from 2017. Okay, fuck you too then. Massive Antarctic lake disappears in just a few days.
Logically, I know this article is about global warming, but looking at the headline, my first thought was, Carmen Sandiego at it again!
That fucking squirrel again.
I absolutely despise that we all know what this is referring to.
The point of officially naming a pet is to not in fact actually use that name, but to have a baseline from which to come up with every conceivable nickname to call him instead. You bury a seed, not because it looks nice in the dirt, but because the limbs that branch out will look nice in the sky. Congrats on contributing to the ancient Tumblr tradition of turning shitposts into profound poetry. Perfection. This is 1947 Cincinnati Inquiry Erasure. The saying, life is just one damn thing after another, is a gross understatement. The damn things overlap. Please do not forget your smash mouth. Well, the ears start coming and they don't stop coming. Just gotta say, we had a class in college on internet etiquette and how to present yourself professionally online, and I don't know what they'd think if they even took but a passing glance at my shit.
Lock me up and throw the key away, oh, and watch as 10,000 rats scuttle to bring the key back to me, for I am the Rat King, motherfucker.
A question to, did the queen die yet? Still waiting. I do not control the speed at which the queen died. I imagine insurance companies in Gotham can't cover destruction from all villains, so they have plans called things like Pick 4, and you pick 4 villains to be covered in your policy. Kinda like putting your chips on certain squares in roulette, and of course, there are plans like Pick 5 for more money. And much like roulette, it becomes a bet on which villains are gonna fuck shit up that year. Honey, remind me to call up the insurance company and take the Riddler out of our policy. He's been pretty quiet and Halloween's coming up, so I like to put Scarecrow back on there. What do you mean this isn't covered? My policy covers Joker, Riddler, Scarecrow, and Two-Face. And Two-Face robbed my bank, so you have to pay for this. Sir, if you recall, you took Two-Face off your policy to replace it with protection against the Arkham Knight. Oh yeah, what a weird week that was. People pretty much always get covered against Joker because, I mean, come on, duh. One particular year, Penguin was abnormally active and screwed everyone over because no one put him on their policies. Insurance companies used to lump Joker and Harley together because Harley was pretty much just as an extension of Joker, but after she started breaking away from him, they had to discontinue that deal. AKA, the real reason people are pissed she's not with Joker anymore. It's all about insurance policies. This is brilliant. I have ventriloquist insurance, damn it. No, you had insurance against the Arnold Wesker ventriloquist. It was the Peyton Riley ventriloquist who shot up your club and killed a bunch of people. If you'd taken out Scarface insurance, like we suggested, hey, I had Poison Ivy insurance. Well, technically, sir, while it was one of our trees that fell on your car, the storm that tossed it across Burley was caused by the weather wizard. Oh, fuck off. He wasn't even listed as an option. He's Star City, you jerkwads. If we allow the communists to win the game of golf, we'll be lost forever.
Promise?
Sometimes it blows my mind that there are people that don't wear glasses or contacts. Like, they can literally see with no aid. Like, they wake up and just be out there seeing. What a wild concept. And people say stuff like, lol, don't you hate it when you look up in the middle of the night and see a spider on your ceiling? Like, bitch, I could have Nicholas II, last Tsar of Russia, hanging from my ceiling fan, and I would be none the wiser. Girls will scuttle around under leaf litter and prefer cool and damp environments. Ah, fuck, wait, I was thinking about woodlice again, sorry. Hang on, I think I got it this time. Girls will have armor plating and a 14 leg. Instead of thinking badly about my body recently, I've begun to look at myself in the mirror, and when I see an area that has a little more chub than I'd like, I just say to myself, hey, what a hardy lass, you'll surely survive the winter. In a thick accent, and let me tell you, it works. Pretending to be at the grand feast for kings to avoid guilt while eating works too. I'm so sick of smooth-brained thinkers saying, oh, immortality would be the worst, being immortal would be awful, your brain would fill up and you wouldn't be able to process or remember anything anymore and everyone would get old around you. Like, bro, I'm 22 and it's already like that, but at least I can go touch the wires in nuclear reactors. I would go straight to the elephant foot room. I could eat the little beets that come with sushi. The only motherfuckers in the city who can handle me. Sup, bros? Huge pet peeve in video games is when you can't hold your breath underwater for very long or it takes a good while to regain your breath above water. Unrealistic. Like, my condolences to the devs for your lack of breath support, but that could just not be me. Are you a frog or perhaps a turtle? I'm a saxophone player. Do you have 67 protons because you're a holmium? 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 Holmium. Holmium. Oh, okay. He means